welcome to the DripDropz Catalyst After Town Hall. My name is Lloyd, and today we are doing a roundtable discussion on our Catalyst proposals and the communication that it's taking to get out into the community and letting them know a little bit about our proposals. So it's a roundtable today, so the rules are very simple. Just give everybody space and time to say what they're saying, but also try to be succinct with what you're saying so that everyone has an opportunity to speak today. And with that, we will jump right in. So welcome. We got Sadhu, is that right? Yeah, and
Yes,
Curtis. Sadhu.
yes.
And I see Nebu is here as well. Tommy's here. Tommy's here's an undercover agent. Okay. All right. Well, so I guess we should all be careful since Tommy's here. I wonder who's gonna report to. That's the question. We got Nin coming in to join us. Haven't seen Nin in a minute. How are you, Nin?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Good to see you. Yeah, we're just, like I said, today's a roundtable discussion, so it's very, very open for anybody to share their experiences. I will start. I'll talk a little bit about what's been going on. Start with from the DripDropz team side. We had a few proposals out there this time, and we've done a few things differently. We've added Twitter threads. That was at the prompting. I think Danny Rybar was the one that was kind of recommending everybody do Twitter threads, and we've done Twitter threads on our proposals, and they've worked. One was really interesting because one of them seemed to upset a group of the community because they were hoping we were going to do something different. I guess that we have an Arweave proposal out there, and they were hoping we were going to use Iagon. Well, there's some issues where Iagon would work for some of what we want to do, but it won't for other parts because of where they are in their development process. So it was an interesting discussion that came out of it, if nothing else, right? So that was kind of the part of the genesis of today's call, was to try and see who else has, tried and what they've tried, and and what's hit and what's missed, what's worked and what hasn't. So have any of you guys done any proposals? Any proposal communication this round? Is anything that you guys care to share on that front?
I would actually love to learn about the process that you just mentioned using the Twitter threads. Is it like one post and all your proposals, or one proposal and a thread?
Right. So I did both. So first of all, with Resi proposals, the four proposals for my urban farmer team, we did our first thread was actually just, hey, here's the proposal one, here's proposal two, like that, right? So we kind of did one thread of that, and that did okay. It didn't get a lot of engagement right away, but it did okay. Then we went back to the drawing board and we tried it from DripDropz first, and we got some really good results. We broke down the whole proposal into the different parts of the proposal into a thread. And that seemed to work actually really well. We've gotten a lot of good feedback. I can kind of put some numbers to it for you guys. Let me just get you some engagement numbers. We had let's see here. I got to grab the right channel. Sorry. Here we go. Of course, the one I was talking about earlier that got it had 23,000 impressions. The one on the Arweave proposal, 23,000 impressions, 126 likes, 27 retweets. So, it did extremely well. But we've also done pretty well with our others. Let me see which one is this one? This is, sorry, this one was the open source voting. That's another, obviously, again, if people are interested in what you're doing and what you're working on, then you'll see a lot more of activity. So the open source voting ones, that was our second best out of all of our threads there, and that one had over 4,000 impressions, 67 engagements, 10 retweets. So, so those are doing really well. We have some posts that we do that are educational each week, and these posts did at least as well, if not a little bit better, than our educational posts that we do every week. So I would say that, Danny had recommended Twitter threads for your proposals, and I have to agree. I think that works. I think that, again, it's getting at least as much engagement as any other educational content we're doing. Our memes do better. Memes are memes. They're like designed for engagement, so they're super. They hit on that metric right away, but they don't necessarily translate into, going somewhere else and adding value to, like, getting people to look at your proposal, let's say. So we didn't compare it to our memes, but we did compare it to our educational content, and it's at least on par.
So with that point, exactly, actually, what you just said, Lloyd, does DripDropz favor, in this case, with this particular example, do they favor the metrics provided by Twitter or the metrics provided by IdeaScale?
So the metrics, we don't really use the IdeaScale metrics for much of anything. They really aren't valuable. IdeaScale is not where you're going to vote. IdeaScale, you see what I'm saying? It won't have any relevance on how your proposal shows up in the voting app. That's a new thing this time that we all have to deal with. None of our proposals will be rated by anything other than a random ordering. So your name recognition is super important, right? You need people are going to have to look for your proposals and find it. And if you're in the big categories where there's 400 proposals, it's going to get crazy to be found amongst 400 or 500 proposals. So part of it was that, like I even have a couple of regrets. A couple of the proposals I put out this time, our name's not in the proposal. I wish I had done that. I wish I had done a single name in each proposal that I could search the same name and get every proposal so people could find them all. Next round we'll probably do something like that. Now that you're not, there's no metric that moves you to the top of the list. Every proposal's in the middle with every other proposal, not even alphabetical order to start. So.
Thank you. Yeah, and I like the direction Lido Nation is going with claiming. I think that's going to help as well.
I think so too. I'm participating. I've been messing with Darlington. I was like, Darlington likes to give me extra work to do because now I'm adding 2-minute videos. I'm working on those. We should have those done by next week. Hopefully before voting starts. We'll try to have the 2-minute videos in place. He now has a proposal response for people. For instance, there were some. This is another whole thing that's new this round, is that the community reviews are no longer meritorious for moving you up and down the list, but they will exist. And there was no way to like, hey, there's a problem with this proposal or this review. I'm not able to flag reviews this round, but Darlington and Lido have offered us a tool that we're going to be able to respond. And so people that will use the Lido tool to do their voting analysis, they can get a short video, and they can get my responses to the reviews. So we're going to do that. It's going to be a lot of work over the next couple of weeks, but over the next couple of weeks, we're going to try and answer every review, and we're going to have all the videos put up, so that we're just fully embracing his tool as one of the ways to promote the proposals.
That's great work. Thank you, Lloyd. Appreciate it very much. And in fact, what you just described is a problem we're seeing too. Our proposal, it appears we've gotten some reviews that it looks like ChatGPT was doing the review.
Oh yeah.
And it gave us like a 1 star, and its review has nothing to do with our proposal. It's just talking out of its ass. So I don't even know what to do about it, but thank you.
No, yeah, no, it's my pleasure. And that's, we're in the exact same boat. We got reviews that here's the other thing. This was a wonderful project. This looks like an amazing idea. I'm very proud of this idea. I think this is amazing. 1 star. It's there. I've got one just like that. I'm like, come on, man. Like that's the stuff.
Crazy.
Now, okay, so and I do understand. I understand in the past people looked at. I'm one of those few people that actually flagged 5-star reviews in my old proposals. Like, I guess apparently that was not common, but I'm like, look, this is a clearly a robot. Get rid of this thing. But I guess a lot of people, even if as long as it was 5 stars, they left it alone. But if it had a 3 or below, they were all over trying to get it removed. And I understand. And so because of that, you had this review inflation happening, and that's why we're at where we're at today. So what we're gonna do is just answer the reviews as honestly as we can and just say, hey, thanks for the feedback. But and wherever we can, we'll take it from there. Nebby, you go ahead.
Hi guys. Just a quick question. Is there a way that on the voting app, would people be able to see the comments if we give any comments on the Lido Nation or whatnot?
So I assume no in the voting app. I don't know for sure the answer to that, but my assumption is no, that's not going to be in the voting app this time. What this is it's setting up a conversation that's allowing us to maybe have that conversation with IO, with the Catalyst team as we go into Fund 11 to see about that. Essie, go ahead.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for what you've been saying so far. I've been taking down my notes. So I want to ask a couple of questions. I've been trying to look out for spaces I can join to talk about my project because I'm from Remo Start. So we're building a platform that fosters inclusion, diversity and all of that to increase adoption rate among natives, and also building a platform that assists startups and all in the Cardano space to build a team, hire effectively and effortlessly like that. So I'm looking for so I don't know how it is that I can actually join spaces to really talk about this project, because I've been doing quite a number of threads, and to be fair, I think threads are actually working like you mentioned, even if I've not gotten the kind of impression I've been looking forward to getting, but it's still kind of working.
So a couple of places that you could look at to try and spread the word. I would, in your case, I would maybe look at the Cardano for Climate folks. They have a semi-regular town hall. They have an impact town hall that they do, and that's one where you might see some benefit. I also think Cardano Spot has been putting on regular weekly Catalyst proposals, and it's almost like anyone can join and do it. If you look at their Twitter handle, they'll tell you what times they're doing, but I'm pretty sure it's Thursdays, or any Catalyst proposal on Thursdays. It's a little late to get in with Cardano over coffee. I'm not sure if they have any spots left, but you can check and see with Darlington if there's any Cardano over coffee slots left that you could get on to talk. That's a great one to use. Let's see, and we just had Idea Fest last week. Did you participate in Idea Fest by any chance?
I saw it there.
Yeah, Essie was there. Okay, good, because that one's important too. I think that's one of the better ones to get in. Those are all kind of the top ones. And then the other thing is, I'd say reach out to any of the influencers in the space and see if they're available. Pete has been real open to having people on his program. He does it was like a 5-minute, like it's really fast, but he did like a 5-minute with me for my Resi proposals, and it went well. Mine ended up not being on the air live, so he had to take it and re-release it. So I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but he did do it, so we'll see. So
Okay. Is it possible I get like the handle to like the Twitter link to these people so I can be able to reach out to them and all that? Because I'm not really sure if I'm actually getting their handles correctly from.
sure. If you look in the chat, Chris Hockaday has helpfully put both the Cardano spot and Cardano Pete Pete with Learn with Cardano. He put those both in there for you in the chat here. And thank you for that, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. So Abangano, is that right? Did I do that well? No, took your hand down. That's okay. How about Seydu? Do you have something to share? Go right ahead.
Right. Query as to the mode of the rating of the assessment for this fund. I hear from the Catalyst proposal review community that this year fund review will not necessarily have much impact on the voting, in a sense that probably that the voting might not be according to how reviews were done. So I don't know whether rating of the proposals will definitely have impact on the reviews. This is what I just want to get some clarification for, in terms of scaling or balloting of the projects for voting factor.
So let me your call was coming in a little bit mangled at first. It was hard to hear you at first, but let me just restate your question, see if I got it right for you. So you were saying that the assessments of the proposals are no longer a part of the I know they're no longer very important for the placement. They don't matter at all for the placement of your proposal in the voting app. So previously in the voting app, if you had all 5-star assessments, you would show up at the very tip top and people would get to vote on your proposal first versus somebody who had a lower star rating. Your proposal would show up much lower in the list. So people who were only going to vote on a few proposals would vote on those few at the top, and then everybody else wouldn't get voted on. So that happened quite a bit in previous challenges. And that actually made the situation worse because some people were voting for specific stuff they wanted and then downvoting everything else, no matter what it was in the category. And so it made it to where really, unless you had a top of the top rating, you didn't have a chance at all of getting voted, of getting your proposal funded. So that was previous.
All right. So this fund, how is the voting, the proposal gonna be on the voting app? Okay. This is something that is not getting an understanding of.
So the default now is a random order. So they will every device will get a different random proposal at the top, and it'll just be ordered in a random order. You do have options where you'll be able to order it by the amount of money, or you can order it by like A to Z. So you can change the order once you're in the app, but the default order of the app now is no order. It's random, and every person will get a different random placement on every voter.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Obangano, are you able to unmute yourself? I can ask to
I think he's having some app trouble.
He
mentioned it. Yeah, he mentioned it. He wasn't able to unmute. Instead of host didn't allow it, but he should be able to unmute.
Yeah.
Can you order by review rating too, though? Because I still like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you'll be able to or not. The reviews, they said that this time they were really making the reviews a lower priority. So I'm actually not sure. I have not had the opportunity yet to see the new, the new final voting app for this round. So, that's why, like I said, name recognition is what it is, but that, people who are present in the community, who are well known, that can convince other people to go and look them up and vote for them, are going to stand the best chance. Which, I mean, is that a popularity contest, or is that a legitimate use of the thing? It's like, it's maybe right now a little bit of both. If you have more popularity, obviously it's going to be easier for you to have more people interested. But there's room in the space for people to show up and talk, share their proposal. That's why with some of the recommendations I was just making a few minutes ago on places you can still go, and get people to learn about your proposal.
I hope the review thing is that it's helpful. I mean, I get to sort and see what the community thinks and have an aggregate, kind of viewpoint. It's at least helpful.
Yeah, I mean, my concern is, I was maybe joking about it a little bit earlier, but my concern is right now I've got reviews that are like glowing reviews with a 1-star rating. But it's meaningless. It's like they got it exactly backwards. Was that intentional, or was it, what did they think, that the 1 was good and the 5 was bad? I don't, So, but I have those, and I have no way to remove them, so that messes with my rating.
It sucks. It sucks that we can't flag those reviews like we did before. I
Right.
like that.
All right. So that,
that's one of the issues I see. I agree with you, Session. It would be nice to be able to sort by review and rating. However, if we're in the current situation where a majority of those reviews are, let's just say, not accurate or not critically thought through, then it's going to be sorted based on popularity instead of what actually resonates with people, until the majority becomes accurate reviews. It feels like that's just kind of gaming the system a bit.
I mean, just to push back a little bit, I think the fact that a project is popular and could be a result of it being good.
You
Right?
hope, right? It's not always the case, but you really hope that that's the case more often than not. So, yeah, today's an open roundtable discussion. So anybody that has anything they'd like to share about what have you done to share your proposals? What's worked? What hasn't? What's hitting and what's missing? I'd love to hear it from everybody else as well.
The session have been doing good. I've seen it on Spot on Cardano's one. Cardano Foundation has it's all over the proposals.
I was just gonna say I'm kicking ass.
Yes,
I was just gonna say that. I was like, maybe I
everywhere.
shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Everywhere.
What do you advise us?
I shared my story. Let people understand that I'm not just coming in here blind. I have a background, 20 years experience. Shared more about that. Shared about more about my personal journey. Like, I'm sitting in a damn dialysis chair as we speak. Shared the challenges. Let people connect on that level. In the domain that I am looking to disrupt, I shared my experience specifically as an artist. Actually, that's the next Twitter thread coming up, some alpha. I'm going to share, me on stage, old flyers of me with notable artists that people know. That'll be the next thread. And these are the things to build credibility around your project. Like you can't build a music project and your background is, something totally unrelated. Like, what credibility do you have? That type of thing.
Cool. So
what
maybe a little vulnerability, right?
Oh, huge vulnerability. Actually, it's a little scary, even. Like, but you kind of gotta do it. You're appealing to the masses, like a community. So you gotta put it all out there, and that's what I do.
All right. CMOS, how are you, man?
Good. I'm sure there's a lot of ways to scan a catalyst proposal. But I can only explain what worked for me. In Fund 7, I tried my best, to get on all the shows and whatnot, and it did not get funded. Fund 8, I changed the name on the proposal and nothing else. And I didn't say shit. Pretty much the entire time, I didn't share the proposal with anybody, and it got funded. Not sure what to say about that. Might be in a unique situation where I succeeded by avoiding downvotes, but I tried to focus on the merit of the proposal. Like pretty much this time around, I'm so cocky as to like the detail of the proposals that if one of them doesn't get funded, this is just a bunch of bullshit.
So I gotta ask, what was the name of the proposal? Can we have the before and the after? What was it?
Oh, I changed the I don't think I even changed the title. I literally just changed the author name.
Oh no. Wow.
Ouch.
I kind of had the same experience in Fund 8 and Fund 9. In which I changed the name of the proposal. Okay, both cases it wasn't funded, but at least on when I changed the name, I got the vote. I mean, I got the votes, except didn't have the whatever the budget was over too high, I guess.
Right.
One more piece of advice that I would get, what I would say is that messaging and language is extremely important. I've got on and off maybe a decade working in e-commerce as a web analyst. So I understand that, the slightest color change or, swapping out a title on a website above the fold for whatever reason can have a massive impact on thousands of experiences that people believe they're forming independently, but are being influenced by your design and language. So, most companies I've worked for and have suffered from the same issue, which a lot of proposers probably suffer with, is that you know way too much about your own product to be able to see from an ignorant person's perspective. And people are extremely, finicky and cynical with their time. So you really have to it would be helpful to get somebody completely unrelated to your project to write up a pitch and see what they come up with, and you'll be surprised what a wildly different perception that they write from. So yeah, the best product in the world is not going to sell if it can't be communicated, its value can't be properly communicated very quickly.
Absolutely.
Can I jump in there? Because I mean, I want to springboard on top of that, Siemens. I know Curtis has his hand up, but just to springboard on that, I mean, I've had hundreds of conversations over the past 2 years about this, and it's allowed me to fine tune the pitch. So it's practice, practice, practice. It's just keep communicating it. You'll learn what lands, what doesn't. You'll get feedback from people, and you'll tailor it. You'll fine tune, and you just get better at it. I mean, it literally was just me. It was repetition and communicating that pitch to people that allowed me to build a community of supporters. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna give Curtis his shot here.
Yeah, CMOS, I agree completely, and Session with everything I said. And our marketing or our vision messaging to our community has completely changed for the better because of bringing in fresh eyes to just say, hey, this is how we're explaining it. What do you know about it after 2 hours of trying to dump it out on them? If you were to have 10 seconds to tell me what it is, what does it sound like? And it's always better than what we come up with. Because like you said, we're in the nitty gritty detail and not seeing it from the 30,000 foot degree. And I was going to say, CMOS too, that work you did in Fund 7 to get on the podcasts and YouTubes and getting your name out there it's possible that it contributed towards the next fund's momentum and building your credibility and so on and so forth.
Right.
Possible.
I think
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Keep going. I was just going to say that's definitely possible, but go ahead and finish.
The last one was just an observation that I saw. I like what Gimbal Labs is doing, and we're going to do it. I'm going to try and push it out the next week. But they're using like a splash page, a landing page for on Domio, and I believe it's just on domio.io, where they're listing out all their proposals. And I think that's a great idea. Hey, come here, and we're trying to segregate our proposals and then proposals we're collaborating on, 2 different sections. Come and see all the different proposals we're involved in, and it just helps build awareness of what you are and what you're doing. I think that's a valuable thing.
It absolutely is. That's actually, and it's perfect segue, because that is the next segment that I was going to talk about, is what we've done on the web. And for my Resi proposals, I have resi.works, and all 4 proposals are listed there. It's a short domain name. It's only 8 characters, with 9 with the dot, so you can put that anywhere. You can get it out there really quickly. You don't have to memorize anything. And so I put that out everywhere so people can see those 4 proposals. For DripDropz, we have a very good Substack that everybody visits. So right now at the top of our Substack is the DripDropz proposals. So you don't even have to have a website. It's great if you do, but even if you don't, you can use Substack, or you could pin it to your Twitter profile, or as long as you've got one place that's got all of your proposals, or even your one proposal, if you're only doing one, if you've got that proposal in an easy to find place that you can always reference the same place for everybody, I think that's super important as part of the process here of communicating this out to everybody.
Does anybody know the average and median wallet balance of the average Catalyst voter? Because that could provide some insight as to like the type of voter that that truly carries the most weight. So if you're segmenting like all Catalyst voters into target audiences, what is the best use of your time? Going after 1 or 2 whales, or communicating with the community in a grassroots spot?
I agree with you completely. Now, so here, and I'll take this a little inside baseball, but I'll go over this for a couple of minutes here. The reality is we do not know. The reality is that we don't know the voter spread, because the voting occurs on a side chain. It's the Jormungandr side chain.
And it's not open source.
It's not open source. We do not have access to those wallets. We do not know what the values are. We don't know. I've asked. What I've been told is that in this new test net, we're going to start getting better access to the voting data. And it's still going to be anonymized, but we're going to start getting better access to the voting data. So in future funds, we should be able to do exactly what you're saying there, CMOS, really understand who we need to target, how we need to target them. If it's even possible to get a grassroots movement to overcome if a whale wants to vote you down. We have no idea, none. And that's because of the way the current, there's no transparency on that part of the vote. So for now, we just do our best and hit all the marks, because we don't really know one way or the other. I do want to take a moment. Abangano, I hope I'm just butchering your name, Abangano. I'm sorry, but he couldn't unmute, but he was able to put everything in here. He's like, we're actually building Stackles, a tool that would be useful in coordinating onboarding and collaboration within the Cardano ecosystem. We kind of made it late to town halls. This is our second. What insights could you share with us to position us for the next steps in the Catalyst program? And I'm so glad you asked that question, because people that are new here, I'll tell my Fund 6 and 7 story really quickly here. I came in Fund 6. I looked around, didn't know anything. I was brand new. I voted. I looked at reviewing proposals, but I was like, I had no idea what I could even do to review. So I didn't touch anything. I just kind of learned. Fund 7, I put a proposal together. I'm like, I think I can do this. There's something that I'd like to do. Had to do with our farm and building a part of our urban farmer D app. And I thought I did a pretty good job putting everything together. I just didn't get the votes. I didn't get voted down. I wasn't told no, but I just didn't get enough votes to get funded. Other people got funded and I didn't. Fund 8, I came back, I refined the proposal. We had done some work on what we needed to do. We showed off some of what we had done up to that point. And then we put the proposal out there again in Fund 8 and we got funded. And then we delivered on our Fund 8 funding. And then Fund 9, we showed up. We actually thought we were going to do really well in Fund 9 and we actually got voted down. It just happened. So we lost out on Fund 9, but we still delivered all the work. And now we're here in Fund 10 and we've asked for funding again in Fund 10. So the bottom line is don't give up. It's a journey. It takes work. It takes time. There's going to be pitfalls. There's going to be trouble. And I see Sean here. I know Sean's had some trouble too. And he's tried to get his proposals funded and he's not been able to a few times. And I get it. Like it's a struggle and it's frustrating. And, and Fund 9, I was literally I was so mad and just like my emotions were all over the map because I really thought I had done it. I really thought I'd done everything right. I had a really high score. I had done all the right stuff. I had downvoted. I just got absolutely trashed downvoted. 100 million ADA. Yeah. What's that, Nebia?
Fund 9 was brutal. Yeah.
It was brutal.
A lot of great projects that weren't funded. Yeah.
So, but we're still here.
Can I jump in?
Go ahead, Sean. Yeah.
What's up, guys? I think the downvotes really come from people want to upvote their own projects and then they tend to downvote everything else in their categories. And that downvote, it just accumulates and it spirals out of control. I'd love to see a fund where keep the downvotes as a reference point, but don't include them in the total, just include the yes votes. I think it's a more positive and a more supportive vote. And we can still look at the no votes and if the no votes don't count, they're going to be more realistic. That's something that I'm always pushing for. So I'd love to see that change. If we're talking about community governance, that's something that I'd be supportive of.
Mm-hmm. Well, and
yeah, I'm worried about pissing off some whale that's going to downvote me, and right. all my efforts are for nothing.
Yeah, man, 100%.
Exactly. It's a scary part, right? Curtis, go ahead.
This is actually in response to that topic of the downvotes. I know for at least 3 funds now, at least 2 funds that has been discussed over and over around how the downvote impacts the whole system. We haven't, it doesn't feel like we've actually taken any direction or picked a direction. Is it because we don't have consensus? Are we not hitting the right channels? How can we actually see movement in the downvote?
So let me talk to that for just a second. Look at the Fund 10 proposals in the Catalyst Improvements section, the one called Catalyst Voices. Take a look at that one. And then look in Fund 11, there's going to be one for working groups. If you want to work in the 2 places that are going to improve this ecosystem going into the future funds, those are the 2 places where we have the opportunity for the most impact for people who are actually building stuff, who are actually, because they should help shut out a lot of the scam and spam. And it should also help get the right parts of the process in place to start lifting up the proposals that are actually working well. What's up, Chris?
Hey guys. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the Adoja proposals. Mm-hmm. I know some projects already have some community reviews that they can see. So if there are any, are they obvious where they are?
Well, okay. So a couple things. Let me pull give me 1 second here. I'll grab the link and I'll drop it in the chat here. Let's see. Oh, wrong browser. I got to get the right browser. Here we go. And I'll drop this link in the chat. Everybody's proposals are at the link that I just dropped in the chat there, mod.projectcatalyst.io/reviews. So you go there and you can see all of your reviews for all of your proposals. So that's true for everybody. Then Lido has a link that he's just provided recently. I can grab that one too. And if you are on Lido's, site, you can, let me grab this link here. Come on, link. There it goes. Once you're logged in and you've claimed your stuff, whoops, wrong one. I posted it in the wrong window. Sorry, DripDropz Slack channel. Here we go. Yeah, I hear you. I don't want to read my reviews either. I've read a few of them. I was like, but they're not all bad. We have some good ones there too. That's what I did. I read the bad ones first, and then I read the good ones afterwards. So I felt a little bit better after I read the good ones. But that link there lets you actually respond to your reviews, at least in the Lido site. It won't work in it's not going to be in the voting app, but at least it'll be on the Lido site. So people that are using the Lido site to analyze your proposal will see your responses to the reviews.
That's awesome. Thank you, Lloyd.
Of course, man.
It would be great if people can vote right on the Lido app itself on the website.
I know, right?
Well, we're getting there, because that's actually the whole point of this ongoing continuous test net. Is the continuous test net allows us to create other voting applications. It allows us to test them before they're certified to be used. So yeah, I absolutely see Lido's site becoming like, he's already so much better than everything else that's out there. I just see him becoming a de facto voting site at some point in the future. So, all right. Anybody else? Anyone else got experiences they want to share that they've what you've tried, what's worked, what hasn't worked, and sharing your proposals here in Fund 10?
I think it's all luck. I think it's pure pot luck. It's the matter of there's tons of proposals. It's a matter of where you are on the top of the list and what the whales feel like on that current day. But it is possible. You know, I got my first fund ever after 15 years research in Fund 4. So it's an incredible instrument. We just need to channel that energy and try to develop a community narrative. So I think community narrative is really important. Yeah, it is possible to get upvoted. It's also equally possible to get downvoted. It's nearly a 50-50 split, I think. You know, there's no math behind it. There's a lot of randomness and luck. But you know, assume you're not going to get funded and continue to build anyway. And eventually you probably will get funded. Like this thing is a rolling instrument. It's going to come along. We need more of them. I'd like to see, rather than 4 votes every year, an open-ended thing where people can apply and you get feedback. And it's like, when you meet this threshold, the funding will come available. Like if you tick all these different boxes, because there's enough here for everybody, right? We can rewrite the rules.
Yeah,
100%.
check the Voices proposal. It's actually moving very much in that exact direction, Sean. So that's exactly where it's headed. So please, guys, check that proposal out. It's not that's actually an IO proposal this time. So you know, this is a Catalyst in the Catalyst improvements section, and it's called Catalyst Voices. So CMOS, you had your hand up. Do you want to add something else?
Just like making some suppositions game theory wise, any whale that could have a significant impact up or down on a proposal is likely not voting for their proposals, because if they already have that kind of money, it would just be more impactful to just make the thing. And you know, without knowing, you could probably suppose that there is a conglomerate of whales that have gotten together to discuss proposals. And since money is likely not a motivator for people who already have a significant amount of ADA, my hope is that the motivations of the people that carry most of the weight in these rounds are altruistic and purely based on merit. So my strategy has been basically 2 things. Try to come up with any reason to produce something open source in every proposal, so that these people see or surmise that the community at large will have a lasting impact. And submit your drafts like the second that proposal reviews, a submission phase starts opening, because at least I was told that reviews or proposals are like presented in the order that they were submitted. So if you can get a draft in the first like 60 seconds and then fill it out later, it's got like a higher visibility.
So
you want to tell me about that?
Okay, so I'll talk about that briefly. That was true, and that was the game before, was getting, and that was actually why this round you had there was like 70 proposals by within the first 10 minutes. It was because they thought that was still the case. They actually switched it to what they called the relevance metric, and the relevance metric can be gamed as well. That one is gamed by having comments and reviews and things done in idea scale, meaningless to the voting app, but for idea scale that would be there. So this is, again, the idea scale is going away, so a lot of this intro gaming into idea scale is going to go away with it, which is a good thing. But yes, that was one of the early steps. That's how you used to make sure you were up high, in everybody's list, because you came out first because you were one of the first proposals. But that's been mitigated, because now they're using the relevancy scope in idea scale for now, until we get rid of idea scale. And then all of the apps that are outside of idea scale, they now take everything in and shuffle it. So it's been eliminated as a gaming method going forward. So Session, go ahead.
So we're moving on to keyword stuffing next.
Yes, we are. Yes.
So this is related. How many of you guys going to Rare Evo? Because that's also part of it.
Yeah.
Community building, community outreach in real life. I'm gonna be right there, looking you right in the eye. Look, check the app out. Look, you know what I mean? Like pitching, and actually we're launching on that at Rare Evo. We'll be able to share with the community in real life actual software that they can actually use, and I think that's gonna be strong too. And so community outreach, going to these events, talking to the people, reaching out in touch. I think that's also super important.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be there. My buddy Kyle Soileman here will be there.
I was laughing at the name. That was hilarious. Like,
is that a typo, or did you do that on purpose, man? You're muted, Kyle.
And then it's right next to Sean Littercoin over here.
I can't spell. I got one hand, so
it was a typo. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm like trying to change my name, and I'm like, I can't. So it's like, oh,
it's like me. Kyle and Sean are like evil, good and evil. I guess they're like enemies.
I asked for it. They won't let me change my name.
Yeah, so. It's safe. The O and the I are right next to each other on the keyboard, so it's a fair miss there. No big deal.
And wait, but it is OI. Oh,
it's wow. OI. You just fingered it hard whenever you were.
Oh boy, that's a good one. I've never done that before. That's first.
But yeah, we'll both be there. So anybody that's going to be at Rare Evo, come talk to Kyle and I. We'll be there. We do have a DripDropz. We'll have a booth there. Oh yeah, here, you want a little alpha? Here's a little alpha. That's going to be.
Oh, he's got some buttons. Look at that.
We got buttons. We got a little something to give away at Rare Evo. A little alpha.
We're traveling light.
We're traveling real light.
That's the bear. That's the bear.
Yeah, welcome to the bear market, y'all. You're gonna get buttons if you come to DripDropz. If you come to DripDropz for swag, you're gonna get buttons. So there you go. But yeah. All right, guys. Ubio, go ahead.
Yeah, I think most of what I want to add, I think we've said it one way or the other. I just want to say maybe something else. I would say just look at what Session Cruise is doing and just copy it, because I just like, no, frankly, anyone in the house, I would really recommend, because this is what he's doing and I really love it. And I think this is what everyone is doing. Don't be afraid of the downvote. You should believe in your project enough to believe that if you put it out there, people are not going to downvote it. If they're downvoting it, then there's a problem with it, right? It might not necessarily be true, but that should be the assumption. So he's putting it out there. He's telling everyone, this is what I'm doing. And I really love like this. I think this is how it should be. we shouldn't be afraid of the downvote. The downvote, if you put in a good proposal, something that the community really wants, put it out there, and there are only two options: either people say yes or people say no. Either way, it's still a result. So I just want to add that, like, yeah.
Thank you, Ubio. And yeah, it's
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah.
I appreciate that. And you know what? It came, Lloyd, talking about failure, in Fund 6, I came in Fund 6 as well. And I came in there knowing nothing and thinking I could just put a proposal in and that's it. And I failed, didn't get the votes. I learned from that. It's just iterative. It's always been iterative for me.
Yep.
And in Fund 7, I learned, I failed again in Fund 7, but I'm relentless and passionate. That you need those things if you're going to build something. If you're like, oh, I'll try this, people sense that. No, I'm relentless and passionate about it. But I applied. What I learned was community outreach, right? In Fund 7, share my story, share more of it. And even though I still failed in Fund 8, what I learned from the failure of Fund 7 was stop trying to hold these things close to the chest. Some people are scared to share their idea because someone might steal it. If you're the guy for this, if you if no one can beat you at this, then just go ahead and share that, right? Yeah. And be confident in your ability to execute, because everybody has ideas, but it's who can actually execute the thing. So you need to be confident and just stand tall, chest out, and just share the damn idea, the whole thing. And that's what I've done.
And then show up and do the work, right? That's the other
correct.
part of it. Like the first part is sharing the idea and getting it out in the community. The second part's doing the work, getting up, doing it every day. And that was it. Like we've continued to build on everything that we're building. We're putting out our ideas in the community, asking the community to help us, but we don't stop building our ideas. So, and that's just it. Like that's that combination that, that you got to put together to be successful in this, is just keep building and keep asking. So this has been a really great session. We're hitting right at about an hour, actually, because town hall ended so early. I would like to go around for final thoughts. If anybody has any final thoughts you'd like to add now on the on communicating our proposals and what's worked and what didn't, now's the time.
I mean,
Yeah,
sorry.
go on, Kyle. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, for me, it's just been providing value, in the community. There are pockets of whales that talk, in little groups and things like that, and they care about different things. And I'm sure some of them aren't as benevolent or, as have intentions as good as others. The range of intentions vary, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And there's different facets of the community, and there's different mediums, and so there's different ways to get out there. But it is possible to be downvoted. It happened to Lloyd. And in a weird way, and it's gonna get weird because we're giving out a lot of money now, and we're gonna get a cadence to it. And so I think we're gonna see more voting from entities with more ADA get involved. I think we're gonna see more, just people showing up trying to game the system, and I think we're gonna see more projects continue to get funded. But yeah, it's definitely helpful to be visible in the community, I guess is what I'm trying to say, and visible in a meaningful way.
Awesome. And Nebu, you had something to add as well, right?
Oh yeah. Actually, I just want to say, like, what CMOS had said earlier was quite helpful. Like, I've come to understand, like, especially with the with the low votes I got in some of the reviews, I feel like there is some, I don't want to say misunderstanding, but they maybe don't see it from my perspective. So I think I'll have to share a lot more on what I envision. So I have a few more days or for them to register, and even more days for them to vote. So I'll have to keep on the marketing, I guess.
Yeah. But you got next quarter too. So this is going to happen fast again and again, so you can learn and readapt and start over and
Right.
You know, ask around where you may think you messed up and things like that too. Because what people write and what they say too may not be the case, right? People may not be able to accurately communicate what they didn't like either.
Yeah, and thanks for pointing that out, Kyle. Like Fund 9 was a real exception. They were closer together leading up to Fund 9, and then there was this huge gap of almost a year, and now we're getting back into about a quarterly cadence. So that's another thing. Don't feel, if you don't make it in Fund 10, Fund 11's right around the corner. So you'll be able to work it in Fund 11 with what you learned in Fund 10. So take on board the reviews and see if there's something you can improve on your proposal and things of that nature, like to really kind of go to that next level. I'll also add here, I see Abangano added, it's amazing to hear some of y'all came earlier than Fund 10 and experienced a fair share of failure. We're only just appearing in Fund 10 and we're super positive and confident about what we're building. Your story is giving us some boost. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that, because it's a process. It's something you walk through, it's something you learn, it's something you grow with. And that's actually what these after town hall sessions are about. It's about growing and learning and getting better at what you do. So I'll plug that. I do have an after town hall entrepreneurship series proposal that's out. It is listed on the resi.works website. So if you guys would like to support that and support these sessions coming every 2 weeks, but a more structured session about growing and building your business, I would appreciate the support on that. And on that note, I hope you guys all have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you all so much for your participation, and we'll see you next time.